Friends, thank you for watching my channel. I just want to remind you, if you need wallpaper, go to www.wallpaperboulevard.com. Tell them Spencer sent you. In fact, if you use my hashtag, Spencer Colgan is wallpaper, they'll be sure to give you 10% off at your checkout. No matter how much you order, they have a wide selection of wallpaper. Check it out. Hey, welcome back to my show. This is Spencer Colgan from Spencer Colgan is Wallpaper. One of the ways contractors are able to give what's considered by some customers as great prices is that they make up for the price differential between their price and the next guy who's higher by doing what is commonly referred to as cutting corners. I want to show you the very popular, in my opinion, one of the most popular ways paint contractors cut corners in the homes of people for whom they work. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Right there, 100, 200, 300, 400, and so on. And so, I'm speaking to the aspiring contractor. Many of you good folks who watch my channel are starting your own business, you're in business, and so one of the things you would want is a brand new drop cloth, brand new. And this is brand new. Okay. Unless it's on cement, you don't want to be working in a home like this, where you're using drop cloths that have dark spots on them. People just get freaked out. Get yourself new drop cloths. But also, this is one of the main points of the video. Let me show you what's under my drop cloth. Paint splatter. Look, anybody who sprays, you know what this is. You know what it is. Okay? Or rolling. Okay, does it come up? Of course it comes up. With a lot of elbow grease. Now, I ask you this. Why didn't they just cover the floor? Why not? Do you have an answer for me? Why wasn't the floor covered here? Can you take a guess? Now, just in case you thought Spencer did it, here's a one I'm not working on. It's a lot of work to get this up. How much time do you think it would take to get this all up across the whole room? How much time? A day, 2 guys, right? What does it cost to pay 2 guys? A day's labor. Talking about 2 man days, right? I can't emphasize this enough. Many of you are in business. You're on Instagram, we communicate, and some of you surprise me and send me a note in my videos sometimes. I watch all your videos. I have a business in Los Angeles or Nebraska, in these random places, and I'm amazed. So I know I'm speaking to small business owners. The reason why you're seeing drops on the floor is not because they hired a bad painter. The person who dropped the paint on the floor isn't a bad painter. They're a cheap painter. Their labor's cheap. They know how to paint well. But they have conditioned their thinking. This is the problem. Correct me if I'm wrong. They have conditioned their thinking that in order to get work, they gotta charge either the lowest price or come down to the lowest price when the customer says, your price is too high. I guarantee it. I speak to a lot of business owners, Facebook, Instagram, and people who just text me because they speak to me about my work. I have to tell you, if you're the wallpaper hanger or the painter who lowers your price because a customer makes noise about your price, this is the kind of work that you're going to resort to doing simply because you're not getting your price. Let me ask you, are you going to work, if your price is X and the customer says X is too high, are you going to come down 30% less than X in order to get the job? And if you do, are you going to give them the same quality of work that you would give the customer who pays you X? You know you wouldn't do it, especially for those starting out. You start out, hey, I need the work, I want to get the work. And then you don't realize how talented you are because the mentality of capital against labor is this. Their job is to make you feel that they can replace you. Labor mentality is, I need work, I need to get this amount. That's the going rate. That's the mentality of labor, the going rate. I don't subscribe to capital, and I don't subscribe to labor's mentality either. Your price should be your price. And depending on where you work and give your prices, it's going to be either greater than or less than the highest or the lowest price. But it's your price. What is your day worth? What are your expenses? What's an amount that you can charge in order to cover all of your expenses and make yourself a profit? What's your profit margin? I can tell you this, and you can take this to the bank. Capital thinks that your labor is not worth what you think it is. You value your labor's value far more than capital does. Capital represent the people paying you. Labor represents the folks who provide the service. So, the folks who did this, they wouldn't do it in their own home. So we know they're good painters. They know how to avoid doing that in their own home. What they're doing is trying to get home to their families by 5:30. And how do you do that on a job where you don't get what you think is worth your labor? How do you achieve getting home at 5:30 and accomplishing painting the walls? Have you figured it out yet? You bend less, you buy less, and you do less while you're rolling the paint or spraying the paint on the walls, so that when the customer comes in, they can see painted walls. Forgetting the fact that when they look at the floors, they're going to see the fact that you didn't spend money for a new drop cloth. You didn't spend the time bending, putting it down, and taping it. But all you did was paint the walls by either spraying or rolling them. And even that you did quickly. Let me show you. Now, I used an acrylic primer under this. Anybody who knows acrylic primer knows that it's hard and flat, look. And this is also shiny, it's shiny stuff. This is semi-gloss paint. Why is this here? Because the paint is looking down there. Not here, why? Too much time. Look down. Look down at the next thing, always the next thing. Forgetting about this. And then, after the job is done, before you get paid, you're stuck. You know what you gotta do to get that out? You gotta scrape that off without scraping the wood, then you gotta sand it. Then you gotta repaint it. You know what that would take to get that out? At least 2 hours of time. 2 hours. You know how much work they gotta do to get this paint off the floor? A lot of time. My son says to me, he's 28, why don't you have a worker? Why don't you get a worker? And he still hasn't learned yet that I would rather do the work of 2 people rather than getting a worker who rushes through the job, thinks his pay is not adequate, and left alone, does stuff like this. Ryan, that's why I don't have a worker. Because you need somebody with a proprietary interest in the outcome of the work. It's that simple. Do you agree? So, my last frame was interrupted by a fellow from the UK who was talking about the very things for which this video was made. He has a builder in New Tampa, and the paint, he said, is all over the place. He actually said they got more paint on his vanity than they did on the wall. So I'm assuming he actually said it's true, but I assume he's exaggerating. But anyway, I forget exactly where I left off, but so if you're the new contractor, here's what your fear is. I'm not gonna make the money. I gotta go low. I don't know what to charge. I get it all the time. You guys ask me on my YouTube channel, how much should I charge? How much? And you know I never answer it. I know I don't answer it directly. I answer it with a question. What are you worth? Now people don't like that. They think it's arrogant, but it happens to be true. I'm cleaning the paint off of this beautiful windowsill as I talk. Why waste time? Let me show you what I'm doing. Look at this mess. How do you turn this around? Anyway, I mean, I didn't do it. May as well help out, right? What does it take to cover something? Look at this. And then you wind up rubbing it, right? You take the paint off, or you don't put enough paint on. Okay, enough entertainment. So you call and say, how much should I charge? It's very simple. Establish your worth per day. What is it? Let's say your worth is 1,000 a day. That's your worth. That's what you have to get. Add your paint or paste. Add a miscellaneous fee. A miscellaneous fee is a built-in fee that goes with every estimate you drive from, spend time there. You're insured while you're there. It's lost time, right? And so you have your fee, whatever that is. Your operating cost. There has to be an operating cost. What if you get a flat tire, right? You can't be dipping into the piggy bank when you get a flat tire. You need a reserve. These are just some of the things that are coming to mind. So you have your daily worth, whatever that is, that's X. Then there's maintenance on your vehicle. Then there's your insurance. This all has to be factored in. It's the amount per every 30 days, whatever it is. Let's say it's $1,100. What is $1,100 divided by 30? So you have your $1,000 that you're worth, plus your daily operating cost. When you're sitting home on Sunday, is your operating cost still expended? Yes, it is. So every day has to come with a price. Whether you work or not, you have to collect that money. And that's how you stay above the red line. Okay. So the point of the video was, why do painters or other contractors do that type of work? The reason is, and this is my opinion, you could say, one, they're terrible. They're terrible. I don't think they're terrible. That's my opinion. I think they're pretty good because we see their work otherwise. Pretty good. No shadows, no holidays. But it seems to me that they're saving time, lacking integrity, by painting without the floor covered. That requires time and resources. You got to buy the drops, you got to put them down, bending. It's time. So they're saying, look, I'm done. And they're not thinking, because they're putting it off in their mind because it's a negative thought. They don't want to consider the fact that they're going to have to spend time on their knees cleaning it up. But what they're hoping is that the customer doesn't notice. Now, in this case, I had to tell the customer, by the way, you have paint drops on the floor. I said, I'm not telling you to tell on anybody. I'm telling you so Spencer doesn't get the blame. Now, that leads me to my final point. You're the contractor. You have the business. You have your cell phone on you. You're always looking at it, right? Use it to take pictures of the floors, the walls, the ceilings, especially on those jobs where the homeowner is out of state. I live in Florida. A lot of my customers aren't home. And so they got the contractor watching the property. You're there dealing with somebody out of state. Be very careful about taking those jobs. Take a picture of everything. Say, before you start the job, do you know that the floor has a scratch in it? Do you know that the floor has footprints on it of mud? No, you'll be their best friend. But if you don't tell them, here's what's going to happen. Spencer, my sister came to look at the property. My brother came to look at the property. My mother, my grandmother, whoever, they came to look at the property. You got footprints all over the place. You got paint. No, that ain't happening. If it happens to you, you failed. You know it, you failed. You failed too. You got to be a big rat. You got to tell on everybody. This is the way you got to do it. Hey guys, you get to a job. Hey guys, you got crap all over the place. I have a business name. You're the plumber. You're the electrician. I don't know who did this, but I didn't do it. I'm letting the let them know. I'm letting the general contractor know that this is not my mess, because I'm not going to be dealing with this when it comes time to getting paid. This way, because when contractors see multiple people on the scene, here's what they do. Electricians are notorious for making messes. They think they're like heart surgeons. They make the mess and the nurses clean up. That's not the way it is, guys. They'll cut walls, leave all the crumbs on the floor. They'll leave the little squares of sheetrock they cut out on the floor. They think you're going to need them to make the repair, so they figured they would leave them on the floor for you to find them so you can plug the hole again, I guess. Anyway, they leave messes, and then you're stuck. I don't want to tell on anybody. Well, it's like a crime scene. I was a cop years ago. Okay, how many people were there? Well, we had the wallpaper guy there. We had the electrician. You see what I mean? And then you're a suspect, and then you go in a lineup. Hey, did you see this guy here? Yeah, when was he here? I was here about 6 to 8 last night. I didn't see anybody else. You know what I mean? I know it's kind of funny. I hope you're laughing, because it is funny. But you got to protect yourself. Take pictures, take video, and before you begin, because you're always ahead before you start, show the pictures and get it in writing with the person who contracted with you that these issues are pre-existing, and make them acknowledge the truth of that. Let me give you one last departing story. I got a call about 5 months ago. Hi, I'm a high-end designer in Tampa. How you doing? I said, okay. No, I got a message on Instagram. I'm a high-end designer. High-end. I said, how come I don't know you? LOL. She has me come to her house, which was at least a $2 million home. So I looked around, gave a price, and my answer I got was, when can you start? But before I have you start, I'm going to have you do something else. Okay. I give a price on that. First thing I was told, your price is too high. So much for, I'm a high-end designer. Now this was on another project, not her own house. Price is too high. Can you work with the customer? I didn't get that job. But the point, okay, so then I got hired by the same designer, who's the high-end designer, for another house. These were 2 doctors. Now, I already know we have an integrity issue. We have promises being made that aren't being fulfilled. Okay, I'll have you come back. No, they're just too embarrassed to say, I can't afford that. Now, this is what you get when you don't stick to your price. This is the point of the video. Stick to your price. Don't worry if you don't get the job. Stick to your price. So, okay. I don't embarrass people. Hey, I thought I was doing your house. There's other people out there. You can hire them. So the friend didn't hire me in their clothing store. But the third person did, these 2 doctors. But it was a rush job, and I assumed I would be getting the job because whoever was contracted to do the job couldn't do it. I promise this is the last story. So I go to do the job, and okay, you can make fun of me. I realized that 1 hour into the job, I was dealing with somebody who hadn't kept her word. So I said, hey, this is the price for this job. And by the way, it was the same daily price as the one I had given her for her own home, which she mysteriously forgot to have me come and do. So no answer. All of a sudden, incommunicado. No response. Don't you love that? Everybody's like this on their cell phones. But you text them about a price, ghost town. All of a sudden, they're contemplatives. Second text. Send. This is the price for this job. Talk to my assistant. I'm in a meeting. I stopped the job. I got 2 sheets up. I figure I'm going out on the boat. I got a brand new boat. Why not? When I work in people's houses and they say, Why so much? And I don't charge exorbitant prices. Why so much? I'm trying to get a house near you. There's a house near, we're putting an offer on it. Just trying to upgrade my lifestyle. It's never acceptable. See, because capital says you need to stay low while they stay high. You'll never hear this on anybody else's website. They're afraid to post it, but it happens to be the truth. Capital thinks your labor should be free. Labor thinks, because of this condescending mentality, labor thinks, I better go with the flow because I want to eat. And I'm here to tell you, keep your prices. If you're that good, keep your prices. You'll get them. So I stopped the job and I decided to go out and read a little in my truck. And so I said to the assistant who had come to the job to show me the walls, because I don't do jobs unless the person who's paying is going to point to the wall, this wall or that wall. You know, because guess what? I had a husband tell me this wall, and he was dead wrong. Okay? Never trust husbands. No offense to the guys out there, but they don't know anything about what their wife wants or where they want it. Long story short, don't trust the guys. So I stopped the job. Talked to my assistant. That's like saying talk to the hand, the ears aren't listening. So I said to the assistant, hey, listen, this is my price. She tells me, you got to talk to her. Let's say her name is Lori. Got to talk to Lori. I said, okay. Lori tells me to talk to you. You told me to talk to Lori. I'm done talking to both of you. I'm not doing another sheet until I get approval on this price. As soon as I said that, the contemplative high-end designer gets back to me. Do the job. The homeowner's gonna pay you. I said, for X, question mark? My price for this dining room is X. Yes. Now, that led me to one last thought. Let me stop this video and think. Whenever a designer tells you you're hired, your next question has to be, to whom do I make the invoice? Is it you or another? 2 times after I did the work, within the last 12 months of this video, 2 designers told me, oh, the homeowner's gonna pay you. The homeowner. One of the homeowners was a traveling rock star. I don't want to tell you what he's known for, because then you'll know the person to whom I'm referring. But he's a famous rock star who has a nice little flat in Tampa. That's all I can say about it. But a real nice person who paid. But the surprise was, at the end, when I got the beautiful work done, they loved it. Oh, the homeowner's gonna pay you. It wasn't a problem. I got paid within 48 hours. But the other one said, oh, the homeowner's gonna pay you, they're out of town. You ever watch the Odd Couple, Felix Unger? Check it out. Just YouTube Felix Unger with his nasal condition. He starts honking, and it was his shtick. I started like freaking out, like twitching. The homeowner, who's the homeowner? Oh, it's Bob and Bill, you know, they're away, or Susie and Sandy, whoever the homeowner was. They were out of town, and I said, listen, you can't do this to me. I contracted with you, and that took, oh yeah, so she said, all right, I'll pay you. Dangerous, dangerous. So listen, the bottom line is this, I'm gonna be straight up. Trust nobody, and consider every one of your customers a potential adversary. Sorry to say it, folks. Now I have the most darling, and I'm gonna use that word, I just heard the King of England speaking about his wife. He used this term, darling. I have the most lovely customers that you could imagine. And none of them would ever do something so dishonest. But if you go into, like I was a cop, you go into a building, you gotta look first. Why are you looking? You don't know what's there. You gotta look. They used to teach us, if you're coming around a doorway, if you want a search warrant, you do this, you quick, and you pull out. Nobody's gonna have the time to shoot while you're looking. But anyway, you look. What do I got here? What kind of person is this? What kind of customer might this be? Long story short, if you're trusting too much, you're gonna wind up on the losing end of the stick. Okay, that's my video. Do a good job, get paid for what you want, and never think you're ripping somebody off. Never think you're ripping somebody off because you're giving them a price that incorporates the possibility that you may have to replace 1 or 2 or 3 of wall covering tiles, each of which costs $100. And that's not a retail price, that's a wholesale price. Okay, folks. I hope you don't scream at me for making this video or whatever else. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Thanks for watching.